Hi my salty pecans, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Pamela, and it has been quite a long time, honestly almost an entire year it feels like, since I have created pre-recorded houseplant content. When it comes to filming videos, editing them, and then going through all of the logistics, it's a lot of work, and my life has completely changed. There's so many different things that occurred, new jobs, like new schedules, and it was just a lot. So I did the best that I could, and the best that I could was actually just filming what is it called, live streams. I was live streaming on my channel every Friday. If you don't know, I have a little segment called Houseplant and Cocktails, where every Friday I come on, I make a different cocktail with you all, and then we do some planty related activities. So if you did not know, I'm gonna try to maybe tag that playlist, or you can just go to my channel and click lives, and you literally will see basically every week I have a Friday night live. I've taken some time off as well, just for self-preservation, mental health, and all of that, but we're back at it. We create our lives, and I love chatting with you all. It's as if we're all in the same room because we're able to have that dialogue. Okay, so that is that in that regard. But on today's video, as you can see by the title, we are going to be rescuing my Ficus Alii. Yes, my Ficus Alii has completely taken a 180 downfall regarding health, regarding foliage. If you can see behind me, this is my Ficus Alii. That tree that was over 8 feet tall with so much foliage, so much leaves, this past winter completely declined to the point where I don't want to lose the plant. I don't want to lose the plant. I found the reason why the plant declined, and I also found the reason why all of my other cacti and succulents died in my bedroom. So let me give you all a little quick backstory. This plant has been living in my bedroom, literally adjacent from my radiator. During the summer months, it does well. I've had this plant for 2 years now, okay? This past February made it 2 exact years that I've had this Ficus Alii, and it was doing really well. Last winter, it did well. I had some, foliage dropping, but that's normal because of the change in seasons, the change in weather, the change in temperature. But for the oddest reason, this winter, my plant could not do it. The difference that I'm just recollecting regarding the environment is, number one, the winter here in New York, harsh. It was so cold this year. This is the coldest winter that we've had in a while. We have not had snowy winters in New York City, and I'm in the downstate area. We have not had much cold winters. We have not even had much snow in the past couple of years, but this winter it snowed a lot. It's been really cold, so my radiator has been on extensively. Okay, the radiator in the position that my plant was in my bedroom, I guess the heat was just blowing on the tree. were drying, it was the freaking radiator. I realized this a little too late, and I pretty much almost killed my entire tree. But as a plant parent, that's okay, all right? Mistakes happen. We have to learn from our mistakes. I was able to salvage the majority of the plant, but a good top portion of it did not survive, so that is dried. So what I'm planning on doing on today's video is repotting it. I'm going to remove it from the parent soil that it came. I said parent. The manufacturer soil, or even the soil that the plant came in when I purchased it from that Facebook seller, and I'm giving it a new container, a new pot. I'm actually downsizing the pot because number one, the tree is not that big, and even the root ball of the tree is not as large as the container that it's in. So I got a smaller container, and I also got a terracotta container because this plant was in a plastic pot. I have other ficus in my home, and that ficus Toby, which is my fiddly fig tree, my ficus lyrata, is in a terracotta pot. It loves the terracotta pot. Toby is not near where the radiator is. Toby is across from my bed, nowhere near the radiator. Toby is doing great in that room. Toby has given me a whole new, like, tree essentially, so I'm really happy about how Toby is doing. But again, my Ficus Alii was literally adjacent from my radiator, which dried it up. I was not putting two and two together because, as I indicated a little bit ago, all of my cacti also dried up. I'm gonna go ahead and give everyone one last good drink before I close the window. And of course, this bad boy. Don't be cheap with the water. That were there. Some were either turning into mush. Literally my entire cactus collection is gone except for one. This is the only one that managed to survive that trauma, and it's because this plant was sitting inside of the base of the Ficus Alii, so it wasn't like on the floor near the radiator getting that direct boiling heat 24/7. It had some height which blocked whatever excess heat that was coming to it. So this is the only cactus in my collection. I'm so happy that I have something. But even like my 15-year-old, well, I said 15, my 11-year-old euphorbias that I got from the Dominican Republic, all of them dried up. Again, I was not putting two and two together. I did not realize until after the fact that it was my radiator that was the problem. So I'm doing a whole new location. Definitely will not go back into my bedroom. I'm going to keep this plant in here with the other plants, okay, that are doing great. And it's so odd because I have a radiator here, and I have so many plants that live above that radiator, but I don't know, something about that room, it was just not happening. It was just not doing it. So for my mental health, for the health and livelihood of this plant, we are giving it a new home, a new life, a soil refresher, and we are going to cross our fingers that it pushes out new growth. It is spring. Today is March the 30th, 2025. We are in the season of spring. And that means it's the season of new growth. We are also going to fertilize this plant. So let us get right into it after the intro. Alright y'all, so let me actually pan this camera down a bit, and I'm gonna bring this planter pot closer to us. So I bought this terracotta planter to repot our Ficus Alii into. What size is this? I really don't even know the size of this terracotta. I guess I'll try to measure it after the fact, but this is what I'm downgrading the plant into. And I have like my little tray saucer that I'm gonna use for it. Step this to the side, and let's roll our Ficus Alii forward to show you all the plant of this episode. So I'm gonna pick up this container to show you the massive size that this plant was in. Okay, use your knees. Oh, this is the tray, the container. Oh, this is heavy AF. Oh. And I had a crash out moment because I was like feeling the plant, and it was feeling a little mushy in certain areas, which drove me crazy. But I scratched the bark, and I did notice there's life, you know, so the whole tree is not gone, you know. There's green, there's life. So we are going to do, like, if I like snap this off, it's like so dry, so dry. Okay, let's remove these strings. And I'm also gonna pull this out so I can show you all the root ball that I was mentioning. This is the entirety of the roots of such a large tree. Again, it definitely did not need that large container. So yeah, we're going to downsize it into this, which in my opinion is perfect, and it's going to give this plant, you know, time and space to require a larger pot. So that's what we are going to do. Another reason why I'm deciding to put it in a terracotta, because ficus, they don't like to stay wet. And I think another problem was that the plastic container was holding in too much moisture at the same rate that the heater was going. It's a culmination of things. But again, today's video, we are dealing and handling all of that. So I'm gonna put this to the side, pan y'all down even more. We're gonna make our little substrate mix, and I'm gonna use some of the old soil that the plant came with, and I'm gonna add my own fresh soil to it as well. Hey, come down here. Let's have a look. Let's go down. Let's just go down. Let's go down, please. We are now on the floor, and like I indicated, I am going to use a little bit of the substrate soil that came with the plant originally, and I'm gonna mix some fresh ones as well. I'm gonna use this situation, and I'm gonna scoop some of this into my bucket. This already has like some bacteria, some different organisms. There's like a glass shard. Let me toss out so I don't get hurt. So I have some of the older substrate in here. So inside of this, there's some coffee. What I tend to do with honestly a lot of the plants in my home, I make coffee a couple times a week. So it's unsweetened. It's just the grain of coffee. I add it inside of here as well. So this is the fresher soil with different nutrients. I'm gonna add some more soil and other things. So let's see what I add into this. Let's kick this to the side. I'm using the trusty old Miracle Grow. I've been using this for decades. It does the job. It does the freaking job. That much of it. Alright. That's a pretty good amount. I'm going to grab some horticultural charcoal. For a good amount of that in here. Just a little bit more. This is like not staying tucked. I'm going to mix as I go. So I'm gonna mix on top of my caster. You know what I'm gonna actually do, because I'm making a mess on this floor, which I don't want to. Let me quickly clean. And I'm gonna use this item that one of my salty pecans, Felix, sent me a while ago. And I never really had the full need for it until now. Senora Palacio sent me this gigantic like repotting tray that again I didn't need, because most of my plants don't need like such a large situation, but this one will definitely come in handy. This part popped out last time. This is huge. I usually use my little smaller ones, which are tabletop appropriate. But this one is perfect. It's perfect. Thank you, Felix. Came in so handy. Okay, so I'm gonna mix what's on the bottom. Little thing is a little small. Dump some of this in here just so I have actual space. The coffee needs to smell so good. I'm going to grab some perlite, of course, and I'm being very careful pouring this. And add a good amount of perlite too. For aeration, you love perlite. gonna add some more perlite, because remember, this is going to be mixed into this. Be careful not to breathe the perlite dust. I normally wear masks when I use perlite, but not in this video. You can see this is pretty light. Okay. Honestly, we'll add even more perlite into this. Let me do just one more. Perfect. Probably like, damn girl, that's a lot. I know. But remember, it's a big plant. It's a large container. And I'm mixing this into this as well. I'm going to use essentially the remainder of my orchid bark. So let me pour some of this in here to make room. Orchid bark. Again, this is added aeration. I'm about to do a little handful of this sphagnum moss, this peat moss. Next, it smells like chocolate, and that's essentially what I'm going to add into my mix. So let me grab my tree. I'm going to set my tree off to the side like so. And I'm going to grab my container. Let's set this to the side, set this to the side, and bring you front and center. I have these cocoa liners that you use for like hanging basket. So I'm going to just rip like a size like this, okay, to line my container. So as you can see, there's a hole for the drainage, and to avoid soil just like spilling out, pouring out when it's being watered, I always line the bottom of my trays with a variety of things. If I have these just laying around while I'm doing the plant care, I'll use this. I use laundry sheets, I use coffee filters, I use little mesh thingies that they have. There's separate drainage contraptions. So depending on the plant, depending on the container, I use something different. But 9 times out of 10, I always line the bottom of all of my trays, whether they're plastic, they're terracotta, they're glazed, it doesn't matter, with some sort of filter to help keep hold of the thick and the fine substrate particles. So that's what I'm gonna do. You don't want to completely block the hole, because again, the point of a drainage hole is to drain excess water from the container so your plants aren't waterlogged. But I also don't need to have a whole bunch of loose soil, especially in a hole like this. This is like a 2-finger size hole. This is 2 fingers. This is 1 finger. So I'm just gonna put it at the base. Just like so. Simple. And this is a natural material. You grow plants in this. You add this into, this is cocoa. Okay? If I had cocoa coir, I would have added some cocoa coir. I actually do have cocoa coir. Let me show you. So This is like a brick coco coir that you add water into and it expands. So you can use this as your substrate alternative. But this is the same thing, okay? Just in a different form. Added that. And now into here, I'm going to mix this. Let me set this aside quickly for y'all. And probably need like a bigger shovel. But as you can see, this is all black. Okay, this is pretty black. And this is very not. The one last thing I almost forgot about was my HauzPlant fertilizer pellets. I love this. I'm going to sprinkle HauzPlant in here. This is like a slow release. And I'm going to sprinkle some in here too. I had to add, we need to do shopping one day to get some substrate material. So that will be another video that I'm going to definitely have to do, which is going shopping to get re-up in plant medium mixes. Mix that. I'm going to slowly add some of this into this as well. Again, thank you, Felix, because this thing is coming in so handy. Like, no soil is going anywhere but in here. So, I'm going to grab the dogs. I'm just going to fluff the dogs. Use the dogs to fluff our substrate mix. At this point, that little shovel is not doing anything but slowing us down. And now this is becoming a nice looking mix. This mix looks really good. I'm going to add a layer of this to the bottom. Alright. This is plentiful. I'm going to grab my tree. Place the tree, center it, and just essentially start laying the soil. But before I do, I'm going to add the remainder of this in here. Another fluff. Doing this reminds me of being in Haiti and watching the construction men, you know, fixing my grandma's properties with, this is reminding me of using, what is that thing called, like cement. And you just like fluff the cement, and you mix it, because a lot of the times the way things are done in the islands versus up north is manual. We don't have like the machines that spin and mix your concrete for you. We don't have those big machines either. Everything is by hand, so they'll use a shovel, a spade to get the job done. So I'm just gonna literally go like this. And I'm gonna shake to make sure this plant has soil within the roots. As you see how interesting that root ball looked like. I should have did this a year ago, but I didn't. So I'm gonna tap to make sure, again, soil is getting in all of the crevices. We're gonna use every last bit of this. I don't need to save any of this mix I made. That's pretty much it. We are going to make a little fertilizer water. I'm going to use my liquid dirt. I'm going to put a little Super Thrive in it, and I'll be right with y'all. And I'm also going to add all this additional soil inside of this, so let's do that. I also have a caster that this plant lived on, so we're going to actually place it back on the caster, just rolling caster. This was such a huge plant. It was so heavy. Okay. Y'all, and essentially we're done. We are done, D-O-N-E. Done. Let me go make my fertilizer water. I'll be right back. Alright, so I have this several gallon of water bucket. I have my liquid dirt, like I mentioned. I'm going to actually put my coupon code. I don't know if it still works. If it does, I'll link it in the description bar. And of course, I'm also going to add my favorite, which is Super Thrive. This has very detailed instructions, so follow those instructions. And I'm going to make my little fertilizer mix. Let me shake this real quickly. It's a little... This is about like a half a capful worth in here. That's all I need. I might not even honestly need that much, but it's alright. And I'm gonna do like a cap of Super Thrive into this. I'm gonna do maybe another. And I'm gonna just mix, mix, mix. And this is so nutrient dense. I made enough for all of the plants in my home. So I'm going to dip this in here. And I'm going to fill this with some fresh water because this is a concentrate. I'm actually going to add more water into this. So I have my perfect mix for my ficus. Let's give it a good water. Water all around. I'm gonna watch it drain from the bottom. And essentially that's it. We are going to pray over this plant that it does what it needs to do, okay? That it does what it needs to do. So sad. But comme ci, comme ça. You know, everything that goes up must come down. And once it's down, the only other place for it to go, besides the grave, is to go back up. So this is the end of this video. I am, again, very excited, very much so looking forward to seeing how this plant comes back alive for us. It's staying inside of this room, like I mentioned, the plant room, where every other plant in here loves this room, so we know this plant is going to do well in here. I'm gonna have to, of course, like find the perfect like corner for it. I think this might be the corner for it. It will get plenty of light. It's far away from the heat, and it's close enough to the window, but yet far enough but yet as well far enough to not get unnecessary draft. And we're just gonna pray that the plant does what we need it to do. We watered it, we fertilized it, we gave it extra loving, a little TLC, a good, like, I think about this much of this plant is not viable. So like all of this is dried up bark, but there's green. There's green all down here because I did the little scratch test and I see some green flesh. So with that being said, thank you so much, my salty pecans, for watching this video. Again, it's been a long time coming, but I have been wanting to film, and this was the perfect video for me to film. I know my salty pecans on my live streams, y'all see me talk about this all the time. Shout out to you all for just being so amazing and giving me advice and understanding where I am in life and still being here to support me. With that being said, I love you all. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed. Give this video a thumbs up if you missed me. And also make sure to follow me on my other social media platforms. That's on TikTok. That's also on Instagram at HauzPlant, HauzPlant. And I believe I'm on Twitter X as HauzPlant as well. So I'm on my platforms. It's the same moniker. The nomenclature does not change. And I will see you all in that next one. Let's get growing. Bye. No, I literally mean let's get growing. This is one instance where that little ending catchphrase, it stands. It fits, okay? I'll see you on the next one. Bye.